Hey everyone, Wyatt here from Band of the Hawk. Today we're looking at the first lesson in the section of to encounter with the two-hand sword. And as for the first constance of the two-hand sword, thou shalt walk in with 3 feet to thy adversary with a bold spirit and a merry heart, with a single quarter, and a single quarter wasted with a quarter stroke, and then smite thy counter both of and on, and let thy hand on thy foot accord together in good offence. Let's start by breaking down a few things in the text here, and then going over some of my theories. So we can look at the very start there we have, and as for the first constance of the two-handed sword, so constance basically just means like steadfastness, firm standing, steadiness, unchangeableness. So you're just kind of coming in there like just really solid, right? And then after that we get some quarter stroke, which appears in this lesson as well as a previous lesson. We don't have much to go off of for the quarter stroke. I treat them as a quarter stroke because it's possible the quarter stroke is a misspelling of quarter, and a lot of the words in the Harley manuscript have multiple spellings, so everything's kind of just spelled like phonetically. So it's easy for someone to just, misspell Carter and quarter. They're very similar, so it's not hard to kind of reason that that might just be a misspelling of quarter. Again, because a lot of, roundies and rakes and everything has multiple spellings in the Harley manuscript. Smite thy counter both of and on. I don't treat these lessons as actual counterattacks to certain lessons for a couple reasons. Counter can mean go against, come against, engage in combat, or to be contrary or in opposition. So the definition of the time period doesn't necessarily state that it is a direct counter move against someone else's attack, just that you're more so opposing your opponent. So if these lessons are in fact actual counters, as we tend to think of counter in the modern sense, then what are they countering exactly? Like in this manuscript, we have a set of 8 lessons, then 11, and then we have the set of 7 counters, which are what we currently are looking at. So none of the numbers correspond, nor do the actions of them line up properly to counter any of the other lessons. So treating this set of lessons as its own thing is the simplest thing to do. So if you count, trying to make any of this stuff simple, it's all just gibberish. So another thing to back it up as its own thing is the manual itself. As it's mostly about alchemical and medical topics, so if these random longsword pieces thrown in, we know that the Longsword poem at the end is dated later than the other 3 sections, so they clearly weren't done all at the same time. So the first 2 sections are also written very similarly, while the third that we're currently looking at is written with a different, kind of more elegant tone. It's off. Something's off with it compared to the first 2. So the first 2 sections are also not separated, while the third and fourth, which is the poem, they are. There's the first 2 sections, and then there's a space, then the third section, then a space, and then the fourth section, the poem. So this kind of leads me to think that it is in total 3 separate sections, with the first 2 being one section together. So then this could potentially be like a different author or a different master for all 3 of these sections. Because as the Harley manuscript isn't a primarily sword fighting manual, and we do have different dates for 2 of the sections, my thoughts are that whoever made the manuscript just kind of threw in different random sword lessons in the middle with, nowhere else to go, just kind of threw it in this random manuscript they're writing. Because it's just, it's in the middle of an alchemical thing. It's not an actual sword fighting manual. So I kind of go off the thought that those 3 sections, the first 2, the third, and then the poem, basically don't have any correlation with each other. They're just kind of thrown in together, and I treat them all separately. So long story short, that's why I treat the third section as a separate, with the counters having no correlation to the previous 2 sections. And so all this rambling is just really to give you guys 3 quarter blows. So if we continue on with the text, let thy hand and foot accord together in good offence. So basically attacking with true times. Lead with your sword and all the basic fundamental stuff that a good sword fighter should be focusing on. So all we really need to do to finish this off is break out the core actions and do something with them that can work. So walk into 3 feet of thy adversary, a quarter blow wasted with a quarter stroke. So I'm going to approach my opponent until I get into distance. I'm going to work this out so I get into distance and, a full iron gate if I'm using a Fiore type position. This will let me enter with a pass with a powerful quarter blow, which my opponent will parry, allowing me to do a second quarter, but pulling it short or wasting it is kind of how I define this one. So my opponent will overcarry in the second parry so I can follow in behind with the last quarter or quarter stroke. Let's take a look. So I'm going to do my first quarter from a lower position, probably something like iron gate. And I'm going to do that with a pass, making an attack towards my opponent. So I do my quarter blow, make an attack, he parries, driving my sword down, which lets me kind of just keep the momentum going. Try to do another one on the other side. I'm going to let my sword drop before he can hopefully hit it. So when my sword's coming around with the second quarter blow, I try to waste that quarter blow so nothing happens with it, but it's going to give me that opening. So now he's going to have committed to that second parry, but it leaves a window for me to hit him on the head with the third quarter stroke or Carter stroke, or however you want to say it. So that was my interpretation of the first counter in the section, to encounter with the two-handed sword. So I hope you enjoyed. Please, feel free to reach out with me on, in the comment section with any questions or any thoughts or your own interpretations. Again, this is all just gibberish. I don't think that anything I'm doing here is right. I'm just trying to play with it a bit and have some fun. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have your own interpretations. And yeah, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Band of the Hawk. Thanks for watching.